Hello and welcome to Coffee with Carey. You may have noticed men in the comment section arguing with me that my list of what women want is inaccurate and they just want hot men with money. Women do want all the items I've listed for you. In fact, that is their list. That list was created by talking to thousands of women over years and years. Women who give me a list of what they're looking for and what's most important to them in a partner. But there is some duality in what both men and women say they want and what qualities and priorities show up in the people they actually date and the ones they marry. You've all heard about at least one of my clients who start by telling me they need a tall, dark-haired, mysterious-looking brunette who is fit and career-oriented. I match him with 6 of those over 6 months, and then a year later he sends me a picture of his smiling face with the woman he's now proposed to, and she is short, blonde, curvy. What happened to the rest of the list? Let's discuss what's real. If that's at all intriguing, I hope you'll stick around because that's what's on the agenda. It would be ridiculous to have this conversation without saying at the start that everybody is different and everybody wants different things. I've watched a lot of other dating coaches talk about these things while gathering a list of what these fellas out there are talking about in my comment section. And I think one huge factor is age. A woman of 25 is not looking for the same things that a woman of 45 is looking for, which is not the same for a woman of 65 years old. So some of this has to do with life experience, where they are in their life journey, but also it has to do with the era in which they grew up. Women are different now. Young women are different than the women I was friends with as a 20-something. Different for sure from the women I'm friends with now. And I have to take this into account when I'm dealing with clients of different ages. So you should too, and I just wanted to make you aware of that. And then women and men, of course, are just different from one another. What works for one does not always work for somebody else. When we come from different types of families, we grow up in different areas of the country or in a different country altogether, different cultural experiences. Some people are heavily into social media. Other people are heavily into their education. We have to take all of this into account, that we are all unique and different. I don't like to make sweeping generalizations, and I'm always stopping other people from doing that. So with that said, are women full of it? Or are they omitting huge chunks of information from their lists about what they are looking for in a man? Are women gaslighting themselves? Is it all BS when they tell you that and I tell you that they want a man with a sense of humor, a man with emotional intelligence, someone who's kind and will be a good team member and treat them with respect and be their support system? No, this is not untrue. Well, except for the sense of humor, because that really does get thrown by the wayside for a lot of people if they find a man who meets their other requirements. And humor can be made up for by other qualities that are actually more important to women. But the rest of those qualities are important to them and are held by the men they eventually end up with. You know, I think the other disconnect here is that women are not talking about what attracts them in the first place on that list, because what women are attracted to and what women want in a partner aren't always even the same thing. Also, some of these things just go without saying. Let's go through some of the things that might not be iterated in a list of women's top 10 because either women are embarrassed or not willing to admit to themselves that these are priorities. Let's be as honest as we can here so that the guys are getting the whole story. These are the things that men tell me women want in a man. Can we reconcile these two lists? Let's give it a go. 1, attractive, good-looking, handsome, with nice hair, great smile, and muscles. Duh, who wouldn't like that? I'm pretty sure it goes without saying that we hope to date people we are attracted to. This goes for both men and women. But interestingly, all women don't have that on their list because women, more likely and more so than men, know that you have to give what you want to get. So women who are slightly insecure or not so self-assured about their looks are not thinking they're going to be dating a man who looks like a movie star. That's not what they're even looking for. Also, we know that there are other qualities that come with men who are very concerned about the way they look, and that's not for a lot of us. The other thing is that while that is nice to date, looks are not everything, and we've met very ugly men who are very good looking. So while we need to be attracted to the person, this does not go on a woman's list as a must-have. It's more of a nice to have. Number 2 is tall men. Guys think that women will only date guys over 6'4" or 6'2", whatever. And while most women want a man who is taller than she is, hey, it's Carey interrupting my own episode with a very brief commercial for you. I just wanted to let you know that I created a new free guide. Hope you got the one about meeting people in the wild, how to meet people organically out there in the real world. But this new one is 33 questions, great questions for dating, for a first date, second date, as you get to know somebody over the first few months. 33 of them. They're really cool, so you can pick and choose. Make sure that you grab that guide. The link is down in my description box. And let's get back to the episode. They're not all convinced they need somebody over 6 feet tall. Also in the category of nice to have. Plenty of female clients willing to date any man who is taller than her. I'd say 60%, with others having a specific height parameter that they want to have me as a matchmaker and themselves adhere to. And even women who tell me they need somebody who's over 6 feet tall will eventually marry a man who is between 5'7" to 5'10". The other piece to this is that a lot of times women don't want to date men that are shorter because they assume men have an insecurity about that. And I've assured them that there are a lot of male clients and men I meet who are super comfortable dating a woman who's inches taller than they are. They are not insecure about walking around with a supermodel on their arm. Number 3, guys are telling me women only want guys who are rich. Couple points on this one. One, my personal experience as a matchmaker is that I deal with successful women very often, and they prefer to date a man who makes a similar income to hers. They'll tell me that men are intimidated by their income if they don't make as much, and I'll explain that that depends on the man. But I understand that you want somebody similar who's created the same type of a lifestyle for themselves and has worked hard. But women who are starting out with their first relationship will talk about the security of having the safety of a cushion and having some money in the bank for security. And then there are women who know that a lot of times money can be a sticking point in relationships and the cause of arguments in a marriage, and they just want to avoid that. So having some money takes care of that. My older single women want a man who can afford to pay his own way when they travel and do things together, or they want a man who's prepared for his own retirement, as she has. Young women of social media age are more likely to have been influenced by the lifestyles of the rich and famous, or the poor and faking it. So as you can see, there are qualifiers here, which is why they don't put all of this on their list. Number 4 is independent. Sure, money gives you independence, but I'm talking about something else. Talking about having things going on in your life and to not be so enmeshed with your partner that you become less of an individual. There are some really great books written about this, but it's important for both men and women to think of themselves as not one unit, but as 2 individuals that are choosing to be together. That's important for a relationship to last. And yes, women do want that when they think about it. But they don't usually think to put that on their list. It just really has never come up. Number 5 is confident. And this one I tell you about all the time. So it's not like this one's going to come as a surprise for you. I have an entire playlist dedicated to confidence. It's a common theme for male clients that I'm coaching or sometimes working on that, but it makes women feel safe if a man has a certain comfort and confidence out in the world where she feels she's taken care of. And women always have found that sexy and would love to find a partner who is comfortable in his own skin and is not thrown by unusual situations and thinks well of himself. So yeah, that's always been on the list, and you should have seen it there. Number 6, do women want men who are desired by other women? Nobody's ever put that on a list. Well, not on a list that I've ever seen. Is a track record appealing? Sure. Nobody's ever been disappointed to find out they're number 5 in a list of 6 beautiful girlfriends. It's a compliment, and it's much better than thinking, wow, I'm his first and only girlfriend? Oh, or wow, she does not look like what I imagined him dating before me. And of course, everybody likes the idea of other people thinking the person they've chosen is attractive, so not on the list. I think it's a bonus for some people, but not that important. Number 7 is fit, athletic, and body confident. Sure, and especially if they're fit people. Nobody who is active and in great shape ever wants to date somebody who's the opposite. That I can tell you for sure. But you also have to be willing to give what you get. So for some of my clients who are less into fitness, they want somebody who is similar to themselves, and that makes sense. I will say that this is not as shallow as some people want to make it out to be. Everybody wants a person who takes care of themselves and values themselves enough to prioritize their health. And my over 50s, for sure, they want to know that somebody's going to be around to enjoy the next chapter of their life together. How horrible for that to not be the case. Nobody finds all these things unattractive. The things we've enumerated here and talked about, these things don't show up in lists because some of them are bonuses or things that are taken for granted and maybe not even worth mentioning. As a matchmaker, the funny thing is, beauty, as we know, is in the eye of the beholder. So that is the one quality that I cannot guarantee for them. That they will find the person I match them with attractive and be attracted to them. I can give them somebody who's taller than them, who's fit and active and all these qualities, but what their face looks like, what their voice sounds like, how they carry themselves, different things are appealing to different people. Maybe that's why women don't bother putting that in the list. You have to be open to what comes your way. Be prepared for serendipity. Be prepared to be pleasantly surprised. Sometimes people are persuaded by things that aren't on their list, by one quality that suddenly supersedes the rest, and that makes no sense except for the fact that it does, because that's love. Here's my most recent episode on what women want. This is what they put on their list. So check that out. And don't forget to give the episode a thumbs up because Mom is suggesting that you do that. And don't forget to subscribe before you leave. I'll look forward to seeing you back again next time. So thanks again and have a good one.